There are times when you think about where you are in life and you start to realize that maybe you could have done something more or something different with your time. Maybe better choices. Maybe you could have gone this other way as opposed to the way you traveled. At some point, you also begin to realize that you can still go forward. Okay, so it may seem like there are times when you are stuck and you're not very certain of what the next steps are. You're not certain of how you're going to overcome, of how you're going to win, of how you're going to get from the bottom to the top. Maybe it's not as hard as you think. Yes, it's hard. It's going to be hard. Let's just be honest about that. But maybe it's not as hard as you think. Maybe the thing that you need is not more thinking about it in the way you have been thinking about getting from the bottom to the top or achieving that thing that you want so badly. Maybe you need a new strategy, a plan even. Yes, maybe in your mind you've thought about if you do it this way, if you do it that way, if you take this path, or if you call this person or that person, but none of that tends to work. Have you ever noticed when people really, really make it, they have some personal shifts internally? Sometimes they go forward even in the midst of uncertainty. Sometimes they go forward in the midst of what seems to be great obstacle. But there's something on the inside of them that says, just internally, in a small way, small assurance, that says, if it's hard, I'll do it hard. But staying here is not an option for me. Those are the kinds of people that I love to talk to. The people who have had their backs against the wall, or they've had someone else's foot on their neck, or they've decided that I will never be broke another day in my life, or broke in this same way in my life. People who decide today is the day that I'm coming out of here. Maybe you've had those days already. Maybe you've allowed yourself to think that at some point you're going to come out. And you thought you already had overcome, you thought you had already dealt with a situation, but you realized that the situation was still there. But what changed was you, because you shifted. So then the question becomes, well, what do you shift if you want to get from the bottom to the top? If you want to position yourself to win, what do you do? There's 1,000 things you possibly could do, but let me suggest one of them. And maybe this particular one is the one that makes all the difference for you. Feast on this a moment. You're walking down the street. The street is full of innocent people just standing around. And you realize you're at the stoplight, just standing there with other people. And then there are few who look left, look right, and before the light turns to indicate that it's okay to walk across, the few people who looked left and looked right said, I think I can make it across. And so they began to walk. And of course, if cars or trucks, buses, etc. began to come a little closer than they're comfortable with, they pick up the pace and they jog or run, possibly even sprint across the street. The light still had not changed to indicate it was okay to walk. What am I saying? I'm saying that you do not have to wait for someone's permission for you to go forward. You do not have to wait and say, Mother, may I, Mr. Please. It is when you decide that you are ready to go forward. Yes, you can take your time and be diligent. You can study, you can read, you can even go to lectures and seminars and get taught. You can get you a personal life coach. But at some point, you will be the one who decides that you are ready to go forward. And it's up to you to take the first step and cross the street. You can wait with everyone else for the light to indicate you can walk now. Or you can look to your left, to your right, and cross. Take a chance, man. Take a chance, woman. Experience the exhilarating feeling of taking a risk on yourself. The only excuse you have to make is one when you know you didn't try or give your best. What else could you say? You've seen how it is when the sports player play a game and the other team beat them or the other opponent beat them. And at the end of it, at the news conference, they say the other team was just better. They were better. They have no excuse. They have, I didn't sleep enough. I didn't eat enough. The referee was doing this. It was raining under the floor. Whatever the case may be, that is not what you hear a person say who is going forward. They admit, yeah, you got me now. You got me now. But what do they do? Do they stand there and wait for permission to go forward? Or do they get back on their craft? They get back in the lab. They get back in the studio. They get back in the gym. They get back in the place in darkness, that away from everybody. I don't mean darkness as in such a dark place. I mean in private. I mean the private place where they live and say, I'm working on my stuff. And I have a go forward plan. And while I'm going forward, you got me last time, but let's dance next time. You see, sometimes it's that thrill of knowing, okay, you outperformed me this time. And I had to admit it. But I'm going to prepare for our next encounter. I'll see you soon. And sometimes that's how you have to be when you encounter something. You have to say, oh man, this was tough. This really wore me out. But I'll see you soon. Have you ever said that about something? Have you ever said it about anything in your life? I'll see you soon. As you're looking at your go-forward plan, the strategy you're going to use, the method you're going to employ, that thing that you say you want so badly, how often do you visit it on the canvas of your imagination and say, I'll see you soon? At some point, when you make the shift into your go-forward plan, there's one thing that I'm talking to you about, and it is the thing that you must have, and it is perspective. Without perspective, you've limited yourself. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. You're standing there amongst innocent people at the stoplight. The light has not changed. You look left, you look right, but did you look up? You see, if you looked up and you had the right preparation, you could have hovered over the street and avoided the cars. Furthermore, if you were in an airplane, you would have had to look down, or a helicopter even, you would have had to look down, but you would have been high above those obstacles. Your perspective would have shifted. Now, of course, when you shift your perspective, you have to deal with different challenges, different discoveries. But I think you're the man for the job. I think you're the woman for the job. If you don't do anything else after listening to this today, consider not just looking left and looking right. Consider looking up. What can you do up there? I bet you can do more than you've ever allowed yourself to do until now. Go forward, my friend. Shift your perspective.